A very good morning, everyone. We apologize for the short technical delay. We are live now for our session with our session with Mr. Nayan Malde. So I'm sure to all of you, Tata Consultancy Services is a brand name that is widely known to everyone. And we're very pleased to have a very prominent member of that organization to share with us on a topic that is in everyone's mind. So before we go into that topic, let us give a short introduction of our speaker. So Mr. Nayan Malde leads the research and innovation functions for Tata Consultancy Services in the APAC region. He focuses on leveraging TCS research and innovation and its ecosystem, making it efficient, effective, and insightful to TCS customers in the APAC region. And the focus of all their research and innovation is towards digital transformation. And as you know, with the present situation and circumstances that we are in, digital transformation is the key focus for all organizations as they transition into a virtual setting. So Mr. Nayan has been with TCS for over 13 years now, so he has a vast portfolio experience with this reputable organization. And he has been holding diverse roles within TCS across research and innovations, sales, pre-sales, alliances, and corporate functions. Mr. Nayan holds a bachelor's degree in electronics and a postgraduate degree in marketing and in service operations. And in his free time, he's a designer by hobby and is his own private label. So without further ado, I would like to bring Mr. Nayan Malde onto the screen now. Good morning, Mr. Nayan.
Good morning, Mark.
I hope you're well today, live from India.
Yes. Good morning, everyone who's joining online. Very warm welcome for the session today.
So, Mr. Nayan, I'm going to share your screen now. You may have your PowerPoint slides ready.
Okay.
So, Mr. Nayan, over to you, and the audience are ready for this engagement.
Sure. So this is about the session, as you rightly said, it's about the art of possible. A session where we'll see how creativity stirs and technology becomes a major disruptor in doing this, where passionate people inspire this technology disruptions. And let's see how this happens in that short 1 minute, 1 hour session that we have today. So everybody has power to do good, and we want to find solutions to challenges that we face. But how do we do it in a nice, sustainable way, and how we are doing it at TCS is something that I want to share with you.
We all have the power to do good, to help a neighbor, to lend a hand, and work hard to find solutions to the challenges we face. By persevering and dedicating ourselves, we can make a difference. For her. For him. For all of us. In that same spirit of dedication.
So as it says, let's innovate. You all are from the university with the fresh minds, fresh ideas, what needs to be done. And often the innovation or the bright ideas come from this set of youth who are watching today. So as I said, in a technology disruption area, it's all about how you drive your creativity, which is inspired by passionate people. How do we do at TCS and what TCS is all about? Let me again show you a quick video to give you a view or a sneak peek into Tata Consultancy Services, which is a world leader in IT services.
In the last decade, the world has evolved into a technological powerhouse. Industrial Revolution 4.0 and a seamless global landscape have moved industries to leverage on data and technology to distinguish themselves through inventive solutions. For years now, we at Tata Consultancy Services, TCS, have been receptive of the dynamics brought about by artificial intelligence, big data analytics, Internet of Things, blockchain, robotics technology, and more. We've honed the appropriate skills, knowledge, and expertise in delivering superior solutions to meet our clients' needs. Our global network delivery model consists of over 440,000 employees drawn from 146 nationalities with offices in 46 countries. We've laid out a pathway towards a better tomorrow. Stemming from our founding pillars in India back in 1868, TCS has been unrelenting in improving the lives of communities through value creation. 66% of the Tata Group equity share capital is held in philanthropic trusts towards education, health, and livelihood. Since then, our insignia for sustainability has been ingrained across all the work we've accomplished. Adopting a sustainable digital-first strategy to propel Malaysia towards IR 4.0. By setting the stage through TCS thought-leading vision, Business 4.0, we've enabled clients to harness the abundance and navigate through the paradigm shift brought by digital disruptions. The intent is to discard traditional thought patterns and drive performance through an intelligent, agile, automated, and cloud-based pathway. We help businesses thrive in the wave of disruption with superior business outcomes. With its ASEAN headquarters in Malaysia, TCS Malaysia is an MSC status company deploying more than 1,000 consultants at local companies. We place sustainability at the heart of our business strategy through initiatives that benefit the environment, economy, and society. By aligning our priorities with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals across the Tata Group, we have logged over 1.44 million hours in our 2019 financial year alone. As one of the most sustainable IT services company in Malaysia, we have planted more than 2,000 trees in schools to reduce carbon emissions and have banned single-use plastics in our TCS Malaysia offices to further help the environment. TCS is a name that's become synonymous with change and transformation. Our objective is to augment industries and stakeholders with the right tools and capabilities while accessing and leveraging on the latest in technology to keep you ahead.
Well, so that was TCS, and as you see the presentation flow today, you'll hear more about some of the success stories that we've had and how are we shaping the minds that come into our company to deliver such kind of winning solutions for our customers. So it is the youth that passes out from or graduates from a university, joining TCS and making these disruptions working here in Malaysia. So let's not directly get into what solutions we have, what we build. Let us see why technology is important. And at any point of time, let's not wait for the old school types for the session to finish. And if you have any questions, then you may ask. Any point of time, feel free to ask questions in your comment boxes. And the moderator will pause the session there and we'll quickly answer some of the questions and again get back to the session. So the slide that you see, what does it show? It shows two different progresses since the prehistoric time until now on the chart are the two graphs. One is on the human social development index and other is on the human population. So the emphasis that you see is around 1775 when both these graphs took a 90-degree steep turn upwards, and this was due to the introduction of the steam engine that we all know about. And today we are currently on such another significant development in the human history. Human social development index, if you see, is defined or calculated by an anthropologist, Mr. Morris. He measures the social development based on four attributes: the energy that is captured, the organization, the war making capacity, and most importantly the information technology. Each of these, when converted into a number from 0 to 250 over the time, it gives us this graph. Importantly, what you see is this was the first industrial revolution, and now that we see it's another 90-degree steep turn that we're going to see. That's because of some developments that we see, and this is something that you have seen in your movies. And as kids, when you'll grow up, I was fascinated when I saw Jarvis, which is just rather very intelligent system. This is the image from Tony Shark's artificial intelligence lab or the computer. It was programmed to speak with a male voice in a British accent. Now it is merged with vision as well. But this was all the fantasies that we saw in the movies. And we always hope, does technology even do this? Because in the real world, we could not. But today, as you see, the information technology or the IT part or the software services which is enabled has enabled us to see this live in action. All kids would have seen some videos about Knight Rider and a self-driving car. So what the steam engine, the industrial revolution did to the muscle power, digital technologies are doing the same to the mental power. And these are some of the examples of digital interventions. We never imagined a car would just move without a driver, and it was always shown in some movies or again in fantasies. But yes, today we know about driverless cars and are seeing them on roads as well. This is something, another replicator of Shark Tank, which is capable to create any objects. What it has done, if you look to the lift and shift, this part from some decades back to today, it's more about 3D and the 4D printing that we're talking about, which are used to build building structures and so many other things. If you see this speech and natural language processing, the image on the left hand side is of the Babelfish from the famous novel Hitcher's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. In the novel Fish, when inserted into the ear, it helped wearer understand any language across the galaxy at any time. This is a classic example of an NLP today. We have Siri or our assistants who can understand what we speak and do what they want to do. So what is this? That we now are seeing things around us. What we saw in movies, in the fantasies, something happening. But today you can see and experience it. The emphasis is on the fact that you see, it's not a coincidence. It is because of three main reasons. A, the exponential growth, which is defined in the Moore's law in the action, studied in science. It's the second thing, it's digitization of everything. So Moore's law, you've seen, the microchip density, the processing speed, storage capacity, download speed are showing the logarithmic growth. On the digitization aspect, here the fact that digital goods are non-rival, which are non-used up, and they can be reproduced at a mass scale at a very marginal cost. Many of these include sensors which are earlier analog in your cameras, microphones, accelerometers have all been digitized now, and you see your digital thermometers. You enter a mall now post COVID and you see a digital thermometer scanning that through the infrared, which is contactless, as well as it reads your temperature. This is all because of combinational innovation. So it's more than one inventions which are coming together and producing these astonishing progresses. The driverless car is an increment on the initial internal combustion engine combined with GPS, with your digital maps, with the new age sensors, and the increased computing power. The opportunities at these intersections are importantly needs to be pitched. So if you see, if you get into specifics, what we are seeing, and hence what we are investing as TCS into the last 2 or 3 decades of primary two reasons, what has happened is one, the digitization of the industry and society and the large scale industrialization that we see, be it in the computing, software, decision sciences, and on the other hand, traditional way of looking was into domains. What is some technology that is relevant to a bank? What is a technology that is related to telecom? And how do I graduate from an university, work with that organization and work into some technology? But today nobody's talking about these technologies in a sector as well, but they're looking into something as that you see on the screens as the middle bubbles is what is driving the changes today. Uh, as a technology company, this is what TCS does. This is the digital exponentials table that we say that captures your business trends, your societal trends, the impact that you see on the left bottom of the screen is 10 raised to 9, 10 raised to 8, 10 raised to 7. So that's the million billion population that is going to impact a particular technology. And what are these business facts, trends, societal trends that are driving this across different technology domains and the industries that is happening. So if you look at something, everybody does banking. If you look at something in the BFSI banking, what are the trends that you see is around connected insurance in the insurance industry. How can banks be more intelligent, frictionless? How can you reimagine the frictionless banking today? How would a P2P engineering lending work? If you shift the focus towards your retail industry, right? It is more towards algorithmic retailing. It's more about hyper personalization. How can somebody serve me the best? How can Lazada or Shopee give me the best things that I'm looking for without me navigating to the personal screens and so on? And this is something that we were tracking. It was going very smooth, but all what happened was COVID to us. And if then we started looking as how the industry is being changing, what are people looking to since January onwards, and what you see are those blue boxes that have emerged as big new technology trends in the business, social, and technology domains. So today, if you see on the social part, every geography wants to be prepared with any pandemic that is going to come. Can we be prepared for it? How can we be prepared from as a country from the logistics point of view? Can today's COVID, how do we have technologies that enable social distancing from a societal perspective? If you go towards some technology domains and some industry domains, they are looking for a banking, as I said, they're looking for contactless payment. The travel industry, they're looking for your biometrics and contactless traveling, so that you don't have to touch anywhere, scan everything to your iris or fingerprint and just move across what it is. So these are some technologies that are going to disrupt the industry in the coming years and at the impact scale that is going to come. I want to hear from my friends and bright students from the AP University across the world in the comments box. what do you think are the top technology trends that you see coming in the next couple of years? I take a pause for 1 2 minutes. I want you to comment, give your comments in your comment box, and feel free to ask questions, and we can take some questions at this point. Moderating team, let me know if you are seeing those comments that are on live or kind of technology trends. If you just want to read out as people are typing their comments for the next minute or so.
Yes, I will monitor to see if there's any questions coming in.
Thank you.
Mr. Nayan, so there's only two so far that we have received.
Okay.
The first is e-commerce in artificial intelligence used in e-commerce,
Okay.
and the other is robotics, something related towards robotics itself. So predictive movements in robotics technology, and another third one just came in, machine learning as well.
Okay. I think these are comments from a university which is full of bright students, and I believe they are on the right track. It's a minute past, and let the comments flow in. But the technology trends that you see, which are going to disrupt the industry in the coming years, the biggest trend is around the artificial intelligence and machine learning, as somebody commented. It's the increasing ability of the machines to learn and act intelligently, which will absolutely transform the world. It is also driving the force behind many other trends that you see, which is listed here in a galaxy pattern. So the other one, let me just read out a couple of ones. One is the Internet of Things. This is referring to the ever-growing smart devices and the objects that you are seeing and are connected to the internet. Such devices are constantly gathering data, transmitting data, and further fueling this big data AI. So when somebody said, AI into e-commerce, exactly this what happens when, through your IoT, the way you are browsing your sites, this information is being collected by these sites to understand your patterns, so that they are being able to serve you and customize or segment you rather into different buckets, into segment of one, what is important to you, what are you wanting. And that's how AI in e-commerce is coming up, and that's what I meant by hyper personalization. The next space is around and again, when you see, this is very well linked to the Internet of Things, is linked to the smart cities, the smart city where everything is going to be smart. The 5G technology is coming, it's going to be a bigger disruption there. Robotics, yes, is a very very big change in way people are seeing, where machines are going to be the first point of performing an action. If a machine fails in doing something, only then it will be transferred to a human. That is where the world is seeing robotics moving towards. So while these changes are happening, be it drones, UAVs, autonomous vehicles, or computer vision, facial recognition technologies, your chatbots, digital twins, this era is defining, is asking for a new mindset. The customers who want these kind of technologies are asking for a new mindset, and I would want some answers in the comments box. Let it be in the free flow, as we see. So what you understand from this slide is something that I would want some comments in the comment box. So if you see kids who would have seen some Walkmans, which were, when I was born, it was a biggest gadget, a fancy gadget. I dreamt to have it with me, play some cassettes, listen to some musics. But the interesting point here is it was introduced in 1980s or 1979 time frame, and it took around 5 years for a Sony Walkman, which was the most popular series at that time, to have 10 million units shipped. If you look the time it took Facebook or Twitter to reach 10 million users, it was close to 2 years. And when Google Plus was launched, it reached 10 million users in 16 days. A story where we'll see a quick video towards the later part of the day. It was a complete digital paid P2P app that was built by some of the fresh students and some engineers in TCS, moderated by some researchers who were innovating way back in 2016. How do you create an app which an entire country got hooked into, and we could create 1 million users using that app in just 4 months? The last graph that you see, the Apples or the Amazons or the Googles, if you see the stock price increasing at a linear rate, and everybody is following a similar pattern. Somebody's going down, the other competition goes down, the stock goes up, it goes up. But you see Domino's, it was just shooting up with an increase of 2,500% since the inception or the launch date. This is something that we're seeing because of the Moore's law, that you see the exponential growth because of computing power that has happened. So what are we trying to create here is around creating exponential value through the power of technology. The second one, an example, the driver that the customers are looking for from a technology standpoint. I think the colorful slide would tell you what the theme could be all about. So if you see, when a Ford was launched, Henry Ford made a statement: you can have it any color as long it is black. As soon as we see some paradigm shifts, and you see Netflix, today Netflix does not only personalize your recommendations, it can also, based on your viewing patterns, of what history, can personalize the artworks, the fonts, the posters that you see. So what I see is, imagine that I am browsing my Netflix. I have a particular habit of watching some action movies, and say my wife is watching or browsing Netflix, and she has a habit of watching some romantic movies. So the kind of personalization that the Netflix would do is, a movie which has some action, has romance in it, my wife would see the same poster of that movie with some romantic scenes, which would include or indulge her to click and watch that movie. And I would get some action scenes where I would be hooked to watch what the movie is about. So we are living in the era of mass customization, and yes, the software is driving that. What do you see is Tesla. So once you drive a Tesla on the road, you go for any problems that you have. You have to park it to the garage. They would give you a new car. You get used to it. But with Tesla, it is just lift and shift of the software module that it is into another Tesla car, and it exactly gives the same experience as you are driving your previous car. So this is talking about mass personalization that is happening and going to disrupt the industry. Malaysian biggest taxi fleet services, Grab. The biggest retailer in the world, Amazon. Banking through the API way. And something that you'll hear about is TCS Coin. These are all big examples about leveraging the ecosystems. Wherever you go, you are attached with a company, you start your own startup. The biggest success for tomorrow is to leverage the ecosystem well. The other things that the new age firms do very well is they orchestrate their ecosystems very well. They eventually become one big platform or operator and extract rents from the ecosystem partners. Apple went from a zero to 500,000 strong ecosystem in just 4 years. Banks are becoming platforms today, and they can plug and play any ecosystem or system as a backbone of the airline industry or the system operators. The journeys book, you can book on a banking services through an API marketplace. TCS has today an ecosystem operator. Our core banking platform that is there, which is called TCS Banks, has several APIs which was developed using a developer community, and anybody wants to build applications on top of it can do that. So the TCS coin is more about connecting with the startups, the best academicians of the world. And when people work in TCS, they get exposed to these startups, what are happening, which are disrupting technologies. They get chance to do some internships or learn from the biggest academia in the world, the MITs of the world, the Stanfords. There are researchers from these universities who come in TCS, do some research work in collaboration, and many a times our scientists be part of the joint research at these universities. The next examples, as you see, is more about something that is called as embracing risk. So what happened is, this is a popular retailer in Europe, UK, which is called as Asda. They came up with a breadth of opening big stores in the country, and there were many stores. But then what happened was, the Amazons and the Lazadas, the Alibabas of the world came in, and everybody was hooked onto those platforms, which impacted the retail business. So what did the company decide? That okay, we have invested into these big stores, can we leverage technology? Can we try doing something or allowing our customers to collect and return the products that they purchased from, say, third party websites in their 600 stores? By taking this risk, Asda was being able to take the advantage of the opportunity in the online retail and get a greater value delivered to the customers. So whenever people went to Asda to collect something that they ordered online, they would go in the shop and do some else, other shopping as well. What happened was, it got more customer footfalls, more revenue, and also they did many fancy things. So was the Facebook. It's the biggest sources of news in the world for everybody. They embraced risk and did that platform. And suddenly what happened was, a brand called OnePlus launched in a segment where the Samsungs and the Apples were fighting for the top position. So there were phones which were in the higher end, and there were phones in the lower end, so that they wanted to capture the market of the masses. And OnePlus took the risk introducing OnePlus One, and that became the flagship or mid-range phone and started getting compared to the flagships of the other phones. And today it's become the top 5 global brands in the world in the mobile phone segment. What this was, it was by embracing risk they could do that. And exactly what the customers are asking today, and TCS is driving this on purpose, being resilient and being adaptable to what we say as business 4.0 framework, which believes that across the earth that we are living in, everything is there in abundance for us. It is just that we are not taking the right risk, not leveraging the right ecosystems to be able to mass customize something for an individual and create an exponential value for an individual. Yes, if all this is clubbed together in a technology form, it will drive businesses, and nothing will stop an individual to get recognition in an organization, or that organization becoming a leader in the IT part of the world. So while all this is happening, innovation is very important, and it is the core of thing that is driving these changes. Without innovation, nothing would be possible. So what happens is, let's if you see what was something, it was invention sparks in a lot of creativity. You crowdsource a lot of ideas, you do a lot of research, you do a lot of discovery that would eventually be related to some technology, to some process or business models or something else. But unless and until these inventions, there's a lot of time, money which is fueled by doing or coming up with this. But unless and until this invention is converted into innovations and derive success through monetary and societal benefits, it is not recognized as an innovation. It will be there as an invention. There are three different type of innovations that happen in the world, in the technology landscape. One is around derivative innovations, the second one is platform innovations, and third is disruptive innovations. The technology changes that just help you get a competitive edge in whatever you are doing is more about derivative innovations. So today, if there is a Grab or fleet taxi, if tomorrow something else comes with some fancy solution around it, some increment part, it is around derivative innovation. Let me give you an example. There was a bike app similarly to Grab that was launched in Malaysia, right? So while Grab was focusing on cars, there was a need for people, and Malaysia was facing traffic regulations. Traffic was high during peak hours. A smart company saw the similar advantage of Grab, where people could do some pooling on a bike, and that biker app became very popular, which is something as you call as platform innovations. So it helps you change your business and be ready for future. Disruptive innovations are some innovations that create new paradigms, complete shift. A company may be operating into something, but completely different. It comes up with a solution or a technology which caters to a different segment with a complete new technology, is what is more about disruptive innovations. There are so many disruptive innovations that we've seen. The robots are disruptive innovations, chatbots, AI. We never imagined this would happen. But as the years pass, these technologies come, slowly the disruptive innovations come as platform innovations, and then they become derivative innovations. And when they become derivative innovations, it is the mass segments that start using it. And disruptive innovations is where the research starts looking into something new. And while you want to do this needs to be managed correctly, right? When you say I will do derivative, platform, and disruptive innovations, how do you plot that? So this is a model that was created by a late professor Clayton Christensen, and this is a clay map that you see, which plots a very simple 2x2 matrix, where you have business model and capabilities on your y-axis, and your customers and markets in your x-axis. So on your left right corner of the screen, it is the box of my customers and markets are the same, my business models and my capabilities are marginally increasing. This is where you will put your derivative innovations in this bucket. The two buckets on the right corner top and the left corner bottom are two segments where either there are new business model capabilities which are happening, or you see some new markets or customers which are hooked to business. That is the segment where your platform innovation happens. And completely, if a technology, the jobs that we are not doing in our current business or models and do not have any customers competes against any non-consumption of our products and services. These are the new needs and capabilities as well as the business models which are aimed at new markets. And this is where the disruptive innovation fits in. TCS is such an organization that welcomes a culture of innovation, and every employee within TCS is motivated to this small little nice innovative change, whereby anything that I have a say, I have an idea, it is recognized in TCS amongst the 4 lakh employees. It is being recognized and valued as well. Let us see how this happens through a quick video. And while you watch the video, if you all want to share any comments through the sessions or any questions, feel free. So
In a Business 4.0 world, how do you foster a culture of innovation when you have a large global footprint of over 400,000 employees across 43 countries with over 900 customers? When you focus on quality, trust, and certainty in delivery with processes, compliance, security. When you want to create growth and transformation, we decided to foster an innovation culture by offering everyone the opportunity to innovate, win, and also fail in daring attempts. It wasn't easy.
We spent time mentoring and supporting innovators.
Internally, we have created awards and competitions, and externally, we have created digital infrastructure.
We generously sponsor events in various formats to bring innovation to the fore.
The result was overwhelming. 50,000 associates participated across events. An innovation challenge a week. Over 3,600 TCS and Avista entries. We solved customer problems across different industry domains. And we were appreciated. We also had fun.
It's an incredible experience, a sheer number of ideas, and I think it's a fantastic initiative.
All of which helps us
Keep innovating.
Create a culture of curiosity and celebrate our uniqueness.
And lead change.
come experience innovation.
So that's the organization where innovation is experienced not only by the researchers, but every employee of the organization. We've come up with a framework which is called a Manthan framework, on which we run many ideathons or hackathons on customer problems. Close to 9,000 customers that TCS has. These customers give their problem statements that, I'm looking for a technology-based solution to solve my problem. And this is something that is not available outside. And these challenges are posted on our internal collaboration platform. And anybody in TCS is open to submit ideas of how do I solve this problem which the customer of TCS has. And as the ideas are bright, each idea, the bright ideas are rewarded, and these rewards are in, you could say in thousands of ringgits to the iPads or smartwatches or MacBooks and many things. So these are prizes the customers give these participants, or having some sessions, with the CEO of the company, having a lunch session with the CEO of a company of the customer which is there, and freebies of whatever they get, some research internships as well in some universities. So all this is being fostered as a culture of innovation, where every employee, whoever is a fresh engineer who joins TCS, can participate and their ideas are recognized, to somebody who's very senior in the organization. If I talk about what TCS Research and Innovation is, Innovation is something that you've seen as a buzzword, everybody talking about it in last couple of decades. Oh, I want to be innovative, I want to do this, I want to do that. But TCS was the first company in Asia to set up the first research lab for software in 1981. Since then, it has been a very forward-looking journey to innovate and come up with innovations with the help of 700 plus researchers that we have. And they have proven patents and technologies which are filed year on year. The publications are increasing. And whenever a researcher, so now in TCS, interesting point is, whenever a researcher is writing a paper, they tag along some junior software engineers in their team so that they learn how research and innovation happens. So every research would have couple of young fresh students who are passed out from universities be part of these graduation publications that the scientists would write. Close to 30 plus innovation labs across different domains. There are labs which focus on, as I come on next slides, on core domain areas like AI, robotics, life sciences, genomics, to cybersecurity, computing, high performance computing, as a broad horizontal areas. But we also have innovation labs which are focused towards building solutions for a particular industry, be it banking, retail, or manufacturing. There are innovation labs around 5G technologies, of how it would evolve. And what happens, how this is sustainable, is close to 300 million USDs is being invested into this organization for people to build innovations, fail fast, dare to attempt, and come out as winners with mature and proving our research capabilities coming out from the organization. So this is what I was talking about, our TCS's research and innovation investments. They span across 8 research areas, cutting from life sciences to physical sciences to robotics to security, AI, behavioral sciences, computing world. And what is driving this, and I pick it up from the initial slides that we spoke about, is about the digital reimagination of the industry and the society and the industrial power of computing. So today in TCS, let me share a couple of examples of what we are doing in this research and how innovative are we thinking. COVID has impacted us, the entire world, in a bad way. There are people who are into stress. There are many people who have lost their jobs in this pandemic. Many people have flown back to their hometowns. Malaysia is a country which has solved it in a very amicable way. But there are countries like the US, the Europes, and even India, which are where the cases are growing exponentially, and the morale of every employee individual is going down. So TCS was looking into behavioral science as a research area. They've come up with an interesting application or an app which is called as Tappy. Tappy is a buddy for an employee, which was built through these fresh engineers and a couple of researchers together, where it is an app, and it has a symbol or a face of a nice friendly dog, because it's the best friend where human can relate to their best friends. And you can talk to Tappy whenever you want to. Tappy will ask you to take a selfie at any point of time, and you take your selfie along with Tappy, right? So when you take a selfie, it would read my facial expressions, and the behavioral aspects of my facial recognition is tied back to your AI algorithms to see whether a person is depressed or is in a happy mood. It may ask some questions. If I'm feeling fatigued or tired, it may ask you to do some yoga poses or some de-stressing exercises by closing my eyes, moving my fists and hands at a regular interval, so that I become fit and I stay active. It becomes a human companion and buddy leveraging that. Something around robotics. We've been working into UAVs and robots, where you could deliver parcel with help of robotics and UAVs. We've been piloting this in countries in Europe. Looking into the physical sciences, a culmination of physical based sciences. If somebody is from the manufacturing domain or mechanical engineering or civil engineering, how can in a computing power join hands together? And what we started working was on creating digital twin, where you create an exact replica of this was done for Hitachi, created something for their boiler of how a boiler would behave in the combustion tuning, so that you don't have to do anything in the real world. You could see or simulate things in the computer world, and this works so well. It saves them costs, it saves them electricity. And slowly there are customers who want to see how we can apply digital twins to a telecom or to a bank, where if there is a banking process of opening an account, you replicate this banking opening account in a simulated world and see what are the touch points that a customer has. And if I alter any of those points, what is the customer delight that is expected? See that, test it, and then you apply it in a real world, which gives you better things. To the life sciences, where we are working on genomics, metagenomics, and you would have seen in news, TCS Research and Innovation has found around 31 components which could be of a help to companies who are into manufacturing drugs to cure COVID, and we've identified 31 components. So this comes from our life sciences research. TCS is working to build low-cost ventilators. India is the company where TCS is headquartered into, and we are working with Government of India to see how we can build low-cost ventilators for them. We're also looking into genomics, metagenomics, and seeing how this can, building digital skins of an individual to see how drugs behave with a human skin when it is tested, so that the testing on animals stop. Yes, we then move towards being a sustainable company, as well as we are using the right power of technology today. Something which couple of slides left. This is more about co-innovation. How do we do that innovation today? In a collaborative environment where TCS is a research and innovation organization is plugged to a honeycomb structure, where any customer gets a view into what the research and innovation labs are about. We work closely with around 1,800 best startups across the world, the venture capitalists and the entrepreneurs in the leaders. So on one part, which is called as emerging technologies, and to the other part on the left bottom of the screen, which is the academia world. We're working with the top universities in the world. And to give you some examples, in the IIT Kanpur, we are working on programming robots for industry application and using demonstration of haptics. Material sciences, we are working with Purdue University in design engineering. We are also working with Oklahoma University on how do you manage uncertainty, which has happened which is helping during the COVID crisis, as well as take some decisions, as well as working with Waterwise University in the Western world for working on nanoparticle production. And we've been working on how do we put some nanoparticles and nano coatings on the solar panels, which are there everywhere in the world, so that the productivity increases, the dust do not accumulate on the solar panels. And you see that. Also working with Royal Imperial College of Arts in London to see how design thinking takes place, and many other. Some of the right successes stories that have come out, and you'll see some videos around it, together with the power of some startups, 4 startups and TCS solution, we could create a complete digital working bank in a matter of 10 weeks for our daily banking needs as well. So this is something about the global footprint of the startups, the academicians, and the startups that partnerships that we have, that you see on the screen, and how this fosters, is the learning. Or if I tie this to any researcher or any engineer who is part of TCS, can work with any of these universities which have these scholar programs, as well as TCS has a very robust training program. TCS believes that the leaders emerge from the engineers, We don't have to look around for CEOs from different companies and get them to lead our company. The so-called chairman of Tata Sons today, who was the ex-CEO of TCS, started his role as a software engineer right after your graduation from your BE, and he has moved on to the ladder of success to becoming the CEO of the company and becoming the chairman of a group of companies where TCS is one of the company. Tata Tata Group is a well-known brand which is into IT part through a brand which is TCS, into cars with Tata Motors, into tea, into hotels, the Taj group of hotels, and many more. It was me. To give you an example, I started my career with TCS in early days. TCS is a company which pushes an individual beyond their boundaries and realizes what your real potential is. It understands that if a colleague or a employee has that zest to work for the company, sends them to different countries. I've traveled to US, UK, been working there, almost all countries in Asia, and now I'm stationed here in Malaysia. So it gives that opportunity to an individual to explore different countries, their cultures, while working and staying close to their technologies. There are different trainings which happen at in each stages of your career that you are, to help you lift from one ladder to another ladder of your entry into the TCS. And what TCS has come up with a framework of a 5A framework, where anyone, anytime, anywhere can connect to any systems on any devices and learn at any time. So there are so many courses which are available, and those contents are there. We've tied up with very prominent channels which provide high paid trainings. We also have our own trainings through iVevolve, Fresco Play, and there is a global event calendar which is published. And any person who is into TCS, any student who's joined from a university, can subscribe to these programs and study whenever they want, pass them themselves, and scale up the ladder of success. While I why people are passionate towards working with TCS, and how this happens, is summarized through a quick video, the last video of how TCS is an innovative company and what it is looking at. Oh, sorry. Before that, I told that I'll talk about two examples that we saw of this, of a solution that revolutionized payments in Norway, and how that happened and what was that. A quick story about that, and a story from your near home country, which is Singapore, which is around elderly care. So why I picked up two studies, two of these videos. A is, first video is related to banking. Everybody will pass out from the universities, would want to work, start earning money. That's what your aim at. And towards the later part of your career, when you become elders, how and you're done with your job and everything, can technology help? So these are two examples that I'm trying to give you, where how technology is helping a bank, where you're putting your money, and as well as when you retire and you become aged, how technology can give an enabler. Quick live examples about those two things. So is my voice audible again? I got a comment that my voice was not audible for a moment. If you could just confirm if you can hear me.
Hi, Mr. Nayan. Yes, you're audible right now.
Great, thanks you. So that was a quick sneak peek into an application which was envisaged or thought about way early in early 2015 as how something big can be made and it can disrupt the entire way the banking business happens through an application. Today still many countries are struggling to have such many things integrated in a single app, and you'll see so many apps doing small things, but there's no such single app which is used by one country and a penetration to more than 95% of the population using such kind of an app. The other example is about Shine Seniors. Shine Seniors is reimagining the entire healthcare services using the IoT smart sensors or robotics that you say, power of AI to analyze this data, pick up some trends from the elderly living in a very non-intrusive way. Nobody wants to get watched in a video camera that is fed and see what am I doing, but but the technology has enabled to non-intrusively, means without having these video cameras, through soft sensors, pick up some living patterns of these elderly people living alone and help them in their day-to-day activity. Let's see a quick video of how a technology has enabled and how TCS was pioneered in doing this for Singapore.
I是陈淑妹，广东人，今年是86岁。我没有结婚，本来就是将来就是一个人。我以前就做裁缝的，后来就做了差不多20多年。
I've known Madam Chan for about 5 years now, and I always know her as a very positive and very cheerful senior. Also thankful to the census program. We know her daily patterns really well, and she wakes up at 4 or 5 o'clock and she takes a walk in the neighborhood, even going to East Coast Park to exercise. Thereafter, she comes back and take a rest for a while. And in the daytime, when she's free, she comes to our center for activities where she mingles with other seniors. And she feels that the census is a very reassuring way to ensure that we would always know that she is safe. And she has always shared with me that if she faints or she falls down, she knows that we are around to help her.
In Madam Chan's home, we have 2 types of sensor. Motion sensor. Whenever there's movement in the kitchen or living room, you'll sense data. And we have a door contact sensors to track whether Madam Chan goes in or out of a home. We are using this care senior solution on a TCUP platform.
The TCS Connected Universe platform is an interesting solution which captures data from multiple data sources, which are nothing but IoT devices from where data is captured. And then data is massaged, and irrespective of what the device is. So we are what we call device agnostic platform. So the whole idea is to capture data from these devices, put it into the platform and do analytics on the platform, and then provide that information back. And see, SNSI actually stands for Senior Citizen App. Okay? And what we will be able to build in the app is, other than what we do on the IoT device, which is picking the behavior of an elderly, we've been able to see, is there a way by which the elderly can connect to the ecosystem around the world. And the Sensei app is essentially the app which helps them to connect to the outside world.
So it has a feature inside where they'll be informed of the events happening in the area where they can click on the events and volunteer their service for it. Yeah. And then with their participation in events or volunteers, they will get community points. With the community points, they can actually buy grocery on their apps to actually support their daily living. Yeah. And lastly, this particular telehealth feature on the Sensi app is very useful. Like in Madam Chan's case, there's some alerts from the system. A nurse may be called in to actually talk to the elderly and then look at her medical data that can be pulled out from TCAP.
In Singapore, by 2030, 1 in 4 Singaporeans will be considered seniors. Technology helps people like Madam Chan, and she really benefited from the care that was given to her in a timely manner. And not just her, but also her friends who are also in the Marine Terrace estate, who are part of the Care Seniors program. And imagine expanding that program to nationwide throughout Singapore and to the region in ASEAN and to the global context.
Tata Consultancy Services is a technology company, and our aim is to provide meaningful technology which will make an impact in the society. And we genuinely believe that technology at the end of it has to touch an individual or a society.
我没有忧愁，又没有说希望什么。我现在这样老了，已经很高兴的了。
So that was about the Shine Senior program. Wasn't that interesting? So right from your earning the money, how technology is disrupting, to how you retire and technology can take care of it. And this technology is being driven by people who work at TCS. Why, when they work with TCS and they say somebody joins from a university, they are put into a very systematic training program, so that they are very easy. It becomes very easy and seamless for them to start working on customers' problems that come. They can start readily thinking about how the solutions can be built, and that is how they can be part of such innovative solutions that are being built. Not only that, it's not that the training would only happen at the first time when any individual or a student is being working with TCS. It's an extensive, nice training program where it's exposed to so many technologies, not only technologies, the business technologies, the business domains, so that you become a leader. Just not limit yourself to an engineer tag. You become a business leader. How would technology help you do business conversations, and even enrich and grow yourself? That is how every individuals are mentored in TCS. One more fact is, if you see on an average, a person who comes and joins an IT organization or a back office organization where some technology related work is being done, they would quickly leave the jobs in, say, 1 to 2 years at max. But if you see TCS as a company, there are individuals who have grown from engineers to becoming CEOs. The example that I gave of Mr. N. Chandra, chairman of Tata Group today, to even a current CEO, Mr. Rajesh Gopinathan. They have been living so many years in TCS, and it's just not about the leaders who are at the top in TCS, but every individual, like even me. I've spent 13 years of experience in TCS, and the journey has been so exciting and enriching, whereby TCS had pushed me. I never knew what my limits are, how far can I go. just being an engineer, but it was TCS who handhold me as an individual, pushed me beyond boundaries, scale up heights, become successful. And it's not just story about me. There are several others who even spend more than 20 years, 25 years, and therefore, at an average industrial rate of attrition, TCS is the lowest when it comes to numbers. People don't want to leave TCS; they want to come, work with TCS, grow, and retire. I take a pause for any questions before we end the session.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nayan, for that very insightful topic. We have got two questions here, but I'll just summarize it into one.
Okay.
Tata Consultancy Services role is predominantly revolved around IT consultancy and various, of course, consultancy in a larger spectrum towards all sectors. So the question is, if you want to become a consultant, what sort of core skills do you need to have to be able to position yourself as an efficient consultant in whatever technical expertise you may have?
Correct. So I think this is very related to some points which I made before I opened it up for questions. See, as an individual, when you're out from a university, what we learn when you're out of your computers or your IT, the programming languages of how this would happen. So you are fueled with technology. How and the bridge gap that TCS helps before you start becoming a consultant is a very enriched training program where the technology learning that comes from a student from the university is gelled with the business domains. Understanding that domain. For example, how would an AI technology work in a banking scenario, or how would an IoT technology work in a healthcare scenario or a retail scenario? So all those trainings are being given to these fresh graduates upfront when they join TCS, so that when they start looking into some customer problems, they are fueled with the business domain training, as well as the core technology training that you bring from your learnings from your university. And that's how that helps you being a consultant, or see how what the industry needs, what a society needs, or a company needs, and thereby you would relate or articulate the technology towards that. And that's where you would also work towards inventing, towards innovation, where you may fail. Failures are rewarded in TCS to come up with more successful ideas as you grow through a platform like Ideathon hackathons. Even if you know some technology know-how, I may working with a banking customer, for example. After I pass out from engineering, I am with the company. I've got trained into some business domains of banking. I'm being a consultant, and I do work for banking. But I do fly. I do go on vacation. I know how the airline, the travel, hospitality industry works, and see a problem comes from them. I may be able to relate to that in a very better way through the technology and the knowledge that I've gauged, and submit an idea. And the ideas which are submitted, they are winning. These individuals are hand-holded to ensure that the ideas become big. They are assigned teams, or they are assigned mentors, so that they can scale up those ideas. I'll take a pause. Any more questions?
Yes, there's one more question. Any job opportunities for data science at TCS Malaysia?
Oh, very big, very big. I'll say many. It's just opportunities are waiting. Once you come and join, you'll be experienced. Let me talk about a couple of them. Here in Malaysia, we are doing a complete digital transformation of the biggest company in Malaysia, that's Petronas, which is called as Project DAO. That's what has a lot of these technologies, innovative technologies, where people from offshore in India and from Malaysia are working. There are many other such banking customers in CIMB, or telecom customers, the utilities like Tenaga National, who are our customers, where the engineers fresh from college are being coached and they are working with those customers in these niche technologies.
Excellent. To all the audience, is there any more questions that you would like to request Mr. Nayan to answer? So I believe there's no longer any questions asked by the audience.
Great. So let me welcome all the students of the APU University to TCS to look for any internships that they want to do, to look as a career opportunity through the last ending welcoming video from our end. And hope this session was insightful to you. You can contact us at any point of time for any queries that you may have, or you're stuck into anywhere, and the pool of HRs, the pool of our leaders are there to help you.
We're experiencing the highest rate of change in history, an outburst of disruption, ambition, and opportunity. You can leave your success to chance, or you can drive the future. At TCS, we're not leaving innovation to chance. We're developing and delivering at scale, be it cutting-edge research, ground-up innovation, or cutting through boundaries to leverage ecosystems. TCS Research is. With investments of over $250 million, TCS Research and Innovation brings award-winning ideas and the best futuristic solutions to you today. Our patents span 40 categories. Some recent examples are TCS Digital Skin for cost-effective and cruelty-free testing of drugs and cosmetics. Personalize, an innovation that helps retailers deliver personalized, real-time experiences to their customers. And in robotics, solutions where robots assist humans in packing and loading operations. Our customers receive on-demand innovation through our very channels. TCS Innovation Forum, Custom Coin, Hackathons, Innovation Champions, Early Stage Proof of Concepts, Bespoke Innovation Days, Design Thinking and Agile Innovation at our pace ports. And we don't stop there. With TCS, you experience innovation that leverages an entire ecosystem, cutting across traditional barriers. At TCS, we're utilizing the transformative power of emerging technologies to propel enterprises globally. We are pulling all stops to create exponential value for our customers.
I think about the CD that we created together with TCS last year. CD means Center of Innovation in Digital in India. So we sent Total engineers in Pune to work with the TCS teams in order to combine their skills and to make breakthrough.
How are we going to focus on moving our organisation forward? How are we actually going to take some of these amazing ideas and insights that we've heard about today and start to turn them into real solutions for our business?
Because TCS is our valued partner. So having access to those type of thought leadership and progressive mindset is going to help ABB to transform.
We're going to be spending in the order of magnitude of about $1 billion in over a 7-year period and doing a major lift.
I think the role of social physics in the age of Business 4.0 is very relevant. So the Business 4.0 framework gives you the ability as an end customer to have that deployed quickly and safely, and the knowledge that TCS have put together a framework that's going to take them forward into the future.
So AXA is a big and strong brand, but we do realize to be ready for the new and future generation, we have to embrace the open ecosystem. We have to adapt foot to open innovation and start working with new partners in order to bring the best to our customers.
What we're trying to do instead now is actually be a part of that agile process. So we're working alongside project management specialists, developers, etc., so that we can be integrated into the process and accelerate innovation.
In a world where new vistas are constantly elevating customer expectations, innovation is no longer a choice. So, are you still leaving innovation to chance? Or would you like to rehearse the future with us, where the secret sauce is a practiced recipe?
So that's the end of what I wanted to talk and share insights to everybody.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nayan. To all the audience and those that will be viewing a later recording of this that is available on our APU Facebook page as well as our Career Center Facebook page, you can reach out to APU Career Center at talent@apu.edu.my if you would like to connect with TCS. We have them on our phone calls every day, and we do much more collaborations than is what is stated out there. So we really look forward to more APU students joining TCS in the near future. Mr. Nayan Maldit, thank you very much for your time, sir. And we look forward to seeing more of you in APU. As of the present situation, the best to say is stay safe, and we hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.